Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation. Well, let's go back. This is me, Dave, from 9 years ago. 27 years old, 6'4", young, dumb and ready to run. And this is my younger brother Gareth. And this is where it all begins. 2017, the year we did our very first Spartan, AHOO! A Spartan is an obstacle race that pushes your mind, body and spirit to the limit. The races are mainly split into 3 groups. The sprint, 5k running with 20 obstacles, the super, 10k running with 25 obstacles, and the beast, a half marathon with 30 obstacles. So in 2017, Gareth and I stood at the start line at our very first race, the Super 10k Calden 4. We smashed it, and in typical us style, we smashed a boat ton of protein and carbs. After a good night's sleep the next day, we did the sprint 5k. Easy, loved it. 5 months later, we completed our first trifecta, turned the line to the beast 21k. Just look at all them obstacles. We were elated, absolutely loved it. Our first ever trifecta completed, we were Spartans. And we couldn't wait to another one next year. But that never happened. Fast forward to 2023 and I'm lying in bed reading David Goggins' book Never Finished. David Goggins is a Navy SEAL who is labelled as one of the hardest men on the planet. I imagine you will usually find him out running, shouting, "They don't know me, son," and asking questions like, "Who's going to carry the boats?" Anyway, his book's amazing. I'm not going to tell you all about it, read it. In his book, there's a paragraph where David talks about going soft. He says, "I had plenty of convenient excuses to tap out. My hesitation was telling. A weak-ass internal dialogue was trying to talk me out of a race I hadn't even fully considered." He then goes on to say, "Sometimes the biggest decisions in your life, the ones that will set your trajectory for weeks, months, years or even decades to come, sneak up on you." Had I gone soft? Gareth and I hadn't booked another Spartan. It'd been years. Was I already turning into one of those people who only talked about what they achieved years ago? Then the biggest question floated in my mind. Could I even do another Spartan race? Looking back, a lot had changed in the 6 years since my first Spartan race. In 2018 I became vegetarian, which obviously meant I could now only eat lettuce, just me and my emotional support salad. Then 2019, 2020 happened and the world completely flipped. COVID arrived, masks became mandatory, and suddenly staying in and washing hands was everyone's personality. In 2021 I said goodbye to my dad. I'm pretty sure he'd have shaken his head and wondered about everything I'm doing now. In 2022 I started YouTube, and somehow I became a person who walks around talking to a camera in public. Afternoon YouTubers. 5 years ago me would be concerned. And that brings us up to 2023, where I now sit on a sofa, watch Bridgerton and eat my body weight in Easter eggs, thinking back to how fit and awesome I was in 2017. No more, it's time Soft Dave hardens up, gets changed and gets outside for his first run in years. Right, we were back. First Spartan sprint booked at Calden 4. My face says it all in this photo. What are we doing? To which Gareth is asking me also, what are we doing? But we loved it. Absolutely smashed it. Fire jump complete for both of us. We got our first race in the bag. 5k done and done. Now fueled up with some protein, we were ready for race number 2. Then the next race was Super 10k in Beaver Castle. I looked at the pronunciation, don't come for me. And we are ready to go. Just look at that hair. Very muddy course this was, and the only photo I managed to get of the day. But fire jump complete for both of us. We had finished our second Spartan race, the 10k. And then on to our third and final section of the year, the Beast in South East London, which is the hilliest Spartan race in the UK. But look at them faces, we were ready. The running was hard. The obstacles were hard. The whole course was just hard. But we did it. Absolutely loved it. We were back. It had taken us all year, but we completed our first trifecta since 2017. We had the bug again, the endorphins were bouncing. What could we achieve next? 2024, the running bug had taken hold. I was one of those people that ran for fun, almost. I now did it without grumbling and moaning. I actually really enjoyed being off-road and up mountains exploring places, just me and my camel pack. I felt like a runner, a proper one. I could go anywhere, but it's now time to get back in the gym. I need to work on my strength for the obstacles. Cut to Rocky training montage. With my strength growing and the trail running becoming a regular thing, it was time to get on and hit up our next challenge. A whole trifecta in one weekend.
Defeat is no option. Who am I?
I am a Spartan! Go on, my son. Easy. Let's go.
Let's go.
Tiene la pata muy larga.
They counted you out, but you're still here. One more breath, one more round. You come too far to back down now. Dig deep, stand tall. No fear, no mercy. This is the grind, this is the moment. Show 'em what you're made of.
Cheers, lad. Thank you. "2025 is the year of the boar, and Spartan has just announced they're going back to Scotland for a one-day trifecta, meaning you have to complete the Beast, Super and the Sprint in a single day. Looking at the 2025 calendar, there are now 14 races in the UK, which meant that if I just complete one Spartan abroad, I could do 15 races this year and achieve a ×5 trifecta medal. That sounds like an awesome challenge. And so, it begins. The first race of the season takes us back to where it all started, Culloden 4, the same place Gareth and I stood in the start line for the very first time back in 2017. I think that's why this one will always mean more to me than most. Not because it's the hardest course, although some of the obstacles still like to humble me, but because every time I go back, I'm reminded where this whole journey began, and just how far I've come since then. Successfully launching the Olympic ball onto my shoulder, with photographic evidence so no one could question it, is a core memory from this course. It's proof that no matter how long you've been doing something, there are always new levels to unlock. I'm not done unlocking them all just yet. Spring was just setting in, warm, but not unbearable. Pretty much perfect running conditions. But this time, the challenge wasn't just finishing, it was finishing the beast with enough left in the tank to line up again for the sprint straight after. Something we never attempted before, because apparently one race just isn't stressful enough. Cad, who had joined us, absolutely flew around the course and came in with a brilliant time. I just took a steady approach. One eye on the clock, one eye on survival, making sure I kept enough in reserve knowing I was about to head straight back out for the 5k.
We got half an hour, we got the next one.
Gareth came charging in with barely any time to spare, rushing to get his sprint timing chip on while I queued for his bag of chips, trying to shovel some emergency carbs into him before he went again. No big speeches, no dramatic pep talks, just a nod, a breath, and suddenly we were back on the start line. Beast and sprint done, recovery, food, sleep, then the super the next morning. First trifecta weekend of the year in the bag. But the real test? That was still to come. Scotland. Okay, if I'm honest, I was nervous. This was the one I was generally shaking under my kilt for. We signed up to complete a full trifecta in a single day. No margin for error, miss a start time, and the whole plan for the year could unravel before it even begun. The course was stunning. Rolling hills, river crossing, landscapes that felt completely different from anything we raced before. But there wasn't much time to admire it. It was straight from one obstacle to the next. Even the hanging bars felt heavier somehow. Knowing one slip meant a penalty, more fatigue, and less time to make that next start line.
Tired carry.
Finish the beast, eat quickly, stretch quickly, move again. Sam was with us, happily capturing photos and living her best life, casually passing Gareth sandwiches so he could hail them between races.
Yes.
Meanwhile, I was watching the clock. Because the real pressure wasn't the distance, it wasn't the obstacles, it was time itself. But by the time we reached the final start line of the day, the sprint, something shifted. The pressure eased.
Reduced to a walk at the moment. Just get my seed eggs. Land in the first kilometre.
I knew I could walk it if I had to, and that feeling alone carried me across the line. Gareth, on the other hand, hit turbo mode, tore around that final leg like a runaway train. Must have been the sandwiches. One day trifecta complete, and barely time to breathe before the next first. Morzine, my first Spartan abroad. I thought I knew what to expect. Same obstacles, same distances. But the second I stood on that start line, it felt foreign. Everyone looked insanely fit, the atmosphere felt sharper, and the penalties brutal. Burpees were back, 30 for every single failed obstacle. The mountains were unreal, honestly some of the most beautiful scenery I'd ever raced in. But it was also a reality check. I finished with a time I was generally proud of, and still ranked much lower than I ever had in the UK. It didn't knock me down, it just opened my eyes. Spartan wasn't bigger out there, I just had more to grow into. There were obstacles I'd never tried before. The pressure of the burpees meant I threw every ounce of energy at them.
Oh, yes.
Stunning waterfalls rushing beside us. But I barely had time to appreciate because, of course, there was a cargo net waiting to be climbed. The crowd in Morzine was incredible.
Yes, get in.
They carried me through those final four obstacles where my legs were questioning all my life choices. And of course, my chief supporter, Morzine reporter and cameraman, Di was there too, shouting, "Go on, Dave!" Usually while rubbing his aching calves after I dragged him up and down some absolutely massive mountains. But that's another story. Super done, a real eye-opener, and time to take everything I learned back to the UK. A week to the day later, I was back in the car heading to the Midlands. And for the first time, completely alone.
Okay.
No Gareth beside me, no drive down banter, just me, my thoughts, and a long stretch of motorway ahead. Gareth had hurt his back. He wasn't even in a state to tie his own shoelaces. Never mind swing off poles and climb walls. That weekend felt heavier.
No, it's too slippy.
Maybe it's the chain carry, which was genuinely brutal.
Chain carry. And then you see this. Going towards a chute. Gotta put the chains back down. And then pick them back up. Oh my god, in this heat. Oh well, motor on.
Or maybe everything just feels harder when there's no one there to laugh through it with you. There's something about shared suffering that makes it lighter. And this time, it was just mine. But finishing that race alone changed something. It made the next start line feel different, quieter, calmer. Like maybe I didn't need the noise to push me through anymore. Maybe me, on my own, was enough. Gloucester, just a beast and a sprint. Nothing I hadn't done before, until the heat hit. One of the hottest days of the year. Extra water stations added to the course, obstacles stacked late into the run, right when your energy was already fading. I remember sitting down halfway through, forcing food and water down, feeling sick. The kind of heat that doesn't just tire you out, it drains you completely. And knowing I had to line up for the sprint straight after, that was going to be more of a determined walk than a run.
I prefer a bit of water at the knees.
The log carry was surprisingly a welcome obstacle, mainly because it came with a cooling swim halfway through. Never thought I'd be grateful for being submerged mid-race, but here we are. Even the ladder over water felt hard that weekend. An obstacle completed plenty of times before, but add heat, sweat-slick hands, and tired forearms, and suddenly nothing feels guaranteed. It wasn't fast, it wasn't pretty, but slow and steady carried me through. And with that, the fourth trifecta of the year was done.
Cheers. Beast, that was. Sprint next.
Sprint next. See you later.
Which left one final weekend. Pippingford Park, the hilliest course in the UK, and somehow the one I enjoyed the most. Gareth still couldn't race, his back wasn't ready, but he came anyway, not to compete, just to support. And having him there, the hype, the jokes, the laughs, meant more than I expected.
The dreaded chain carry. Look at that, wild ponies. Should we see if we ask them to carry the chain for me? I go, fella. Works. Works.
Somewhere during that race, swimming through freezing water with a log in my hands, everything slowed down. I wasn't chasing the finish line. I wasn't thinking about rankings or times. I was just there. Feeling strong, feeling alive, feeling like I'd made it this far. Beast done. Night sprint, no dark sky, done. Super finished. Crossing that last line didn't explode. It was quiet, a long breath out. And then I saw Gareth.
Congratulations, number 15 done, boy.
15 done, boy.
Smiling, waiting, perfect. Five trifectas, 15 races, 1 year that changed me more than I ever imagined. And as the dust settled, one question echoed louder than anything else. What's next?
God, I love my job. Yes, you are, Spartans. You are gathered here today as the 300 gathered before you on the battlefield of Thermopylae.
Regardez autour de vous. Je ne vois pas que des coureurs. Je vois des guerriers, des guerrières, des frères, des sœurs.
You'll train your minds and your bodies will follow, no matter what obstacles you face on your journey. Who am I? I am Spartan. Who am I? I am Spartan. This evening is your evening, and the history book shall remember each and every one of your names. One final time. Who am I?